takes it away from him.
Good rebound by Schilling between two Falcon players.
Fogarty over to Clocksine. He'll line up the three-pointer. That one's short. Schilling, though, snaps up the rebound. Fadeaway jumper is too long, and Wilson takes it down for Armstrong. Ahead it comes. Lampker's pull-up off the glass, in and out. And the rebound by Anderson. Pretty good pace to this one so far in the early going. Keating gets the dribble back. And Clocksine wide open. This time passes it up into the lane, and Gilbert blocks it. Andy Gilbert had a huge night against Tonka the first time around, and he comes up with the big block.
I'm impressed early with the Falcon defense, really challenging passing lanes, and there you see the block by Gilbert.
If you don't play D, you do not play for Larry William. That's been established over the years. They're Sloan with a tough drive and bucket, and it's 4-2. First lead of the night for Armstrong.
You mentioned the 2 point guards very quick, Sloan and Keating. Sloan can break you down off the dribble. A good example right there.
Sloan went down after a hard pick, and now it forced Gilbert out onto Keating. Keating, a nice little stop and go. Clocksine lines up the three again. This time it's good. Ryan Clocksine giving her Minnetonka the 5-4 advantage. Play stopped as the net getting caught.
Early on, it looks like Armstrong will give Minnetonka that shot, make them beat them from the perimeter early in the game.
Wilson puts it on the floor, up over Clocksine from the baseline, and all white there on the boards is Keating away with it. Keating just about traveled, but got it away. Schilling, nice dish down to Anderson. Great look to the weak side, and Grant Anderson finishes 7-4 Tonka.
Great interior passing by Minnetonka. Doubling on Schilling, finds his open teammate Anderson on the opposite block.
Sloan, a deep three-point attempt. Too hard, and again, nobody there on the offensive boards. And Keating will lead the mini break here for Tonka.
I think the Falcons so concerned about getting back, no one's going in.
What a move by Schilling, but then he lost his balance, and he's going to be called for a travel. That was a great spin move, and it looked like he might have a layup, but he lost his footing a little bit and just couldn't get it back under control to take it up for the shot. Boy, Minnetonka, Kevin, is passing the ball around so quickly, not allowing the defense to get set up.
Excellent passing by the Skippers, but Falcons, excellent job recovering on that defensive end. Very quick on the perimeter are the Falcons.
Played about half the first quarter, 7-4 Minnetonka. Lampker back out. Gilbert takes the three. That's too hard. Rebound batted out, and Wilson up with it. Here's Whitney. He'll line up the three-pointer. In and out. Armstrong cold from beyond the arc in the early going. Schilling will launch a deep one. That's short on the rim, no good. And Keating able to save it, but taken by Whitney. Both teams shooting a lot of threes, which is not unusual. Here's a drive by Lampker to the bucket, a blocking foul underneath against Anderson. If you're seeing Armstrong for the first time, you might kind of be thinking, wow, they're really gunning him up from beyond the arc, but that is not unusual for this team. As a team, they're shooting about 40% on three-pointers. Here's a look at the blocking call.
Defensively, Anderson just getting there too late for Minnetonka.
Lampker, obviously there are some Minnetonka fans here as he's hearing the air ball chant. And Lampker not able to connect on the first free throw attempt of the game for either squad. Dusty Lampker had a nice game over at Minnetonka. He's always been able to hit the three, but he's added the drive to his game this year. Second free throw good. 7-5 Skippers. Clocksine hemmed in, but he gets it away. Keating setting things up here for Tonka. Fogarty and Clocksine. Nice feed down low to Anderson. He banks it in. Boy, that was great placement on that pass.
Excellent ball movement by the Skippers. Defensively, the Falcons were giving up the baseline, and Anderson flashed to the open spot.
Whitney back out to Sloan, who puts it on the floor and drives, and Fogarty fouled him. Well, Jake Cuppy in street clothes tonight, and we'll see what the absence might mean for Minnetonka.
This is the first 3 days in a row we've had to practice since the middle of December. And so we were hoping to, retool, get back to the basics, do some fundamentals, and now we got to adjust with Jake possibly out and not playing Friday.
And indeed he is not playing, so they called the foul on the drive, so an inbound for Armstrong here. They trail 9-5, 2:45 to go first quarter. Lamker into the lane, not taking no for an answer there. Looked like he was cut off, and he kept with it and right at the defender and pulls the lead to 2 now, 9-7.
Defensively, you've got to help and rotate over when that offensive player breaks the free throw line with the dribble.
Schilling cutting. He was fouled as he caught the pass by Andy Gilbert. Gilbert picking up his first. And that is also the first team foul. Got Brendan Finn, number 23, coming into the game now for Tonka. Of course, when you lose Cuppy too, it takes away one more of your bench players. And Finn not going to hesitate. He'll fire right away, no good. Schilling ripping the rebound out of the pack, and it bounces back out to Keating. Keating fires, no good. And it took an extra bounce there and fooled Finn, or he would have had a layup attempt. Armstrong looking for the tie. Wilson pull up, it's good. John Wilson's second bucket of the game, and we're even at 9 apiece.
Excellent penetration by Wilson. Did not seal the baseline defensively for Minnetonka.
They tried to lob it to Schilling. He wasn't able to break free of the defender in time and get to it. Jake Gerard coming in for Armstrong now, number 32. Minute 50 to go in the opening quarter. Number 1 Armstrong, 9. Number 2 Minnetonka, 9. Gerard defended by Keating. Here's Gilbert inside, a little give and go to Whitney. Not a real good pass. There wasn't much room for that one, and it's a turnover. Keating, nice dish. Anderson with the left hand. Anderson has 6.
Advancing the ball very quickly in transition. Minnetonka finds Anderson on the block. Nice left hand off the glass.
This is a game that really doesn't feature huge teams, and Anderson able to finish inside at 6'7". That's a big advantage. Sloan, nice little move. Left hand shot, leaves it short though. Here comes Schilling. Now Keating. Another nice feed. Clock-seen too hard. Schilling had it and lost it. As he goes down in the heap, he thought he was fouled. We're under a minute to go in the first quarter. Minnetonka still leading by 2. Gerard gives it up to Wilson. Wilson spinning. Nice fake by Whitney around Schilling and lays it in. Ty Whitney got Schilling airborne. Schilling's got a vertical of up around 40 inches, and he used all of it there, but unfortunately for him, Whitney with a pump fake. Finn is open, does not elect to shoot. Looks like they might play for 1 here. We're down to 15 seconds now to go in a tie game in the first quarter. Keating will back it out and bring it forward for a last try here. 8 seconds. Keating pulling up at the free throw line, and it spins in. And that bucket will end the first quarter on a good note for Minnetonka. Good game so far. Skippers 13, Falcons 11.
I'm Kirsten.
4 points for Wilson, 2 for Whitney and Sloan, and Lamker, a field goal and a free throw for 3 for Armstrong. And for Tonka, 6 points inside for Grant Anderson, replacing Cuppy in the starting lineup. 3 points for Clock-seen. Schilling and Keating each have a bucket, so Schilling held fairly quiet here in this first quarter so far. Just that 1 field goal. In fact, it was the early reverse layup, first bucket of the game. Gilbert to the bucket, too hard with the left hand as he had a step around Anderson, but I think he saw Schilling coming over to try and erase that one and rushed it a bit. Schilling coming out to the perimeter to get it. Wilson knocked it away, Sloan saving it, and actually Armstrong might be fortunate that was ruled out of bounds because 2 Falcons went after it and they ended up giving it right back to Schilling. Clock-seen to Keating coming around to pick. Sloan gets out to force him to give it up. Schilling inside, takes it strong. Good post feed there. Wilson was caught behind him and couldn't do a thing about it once he caught it.
Good post position by Schilling once he got the defender on his top hip. And a nice bounce entry pass, easy basket for Minnetonka.
Sean Cates in there, number 42 for Armstrong here to start this second quarter. Cates didn't play a tremendous amount of time, but was very effective in the time he was in there at Minnetonka when these teams met. Tonka 15-11. Armstrong yet to make a three-pointer, which is uncharacteristic of them this year in building this 15-0 record. Tonka getting out after him defensively here. Not many openings. Here comes Lamker to the bucket, draws a foul. And he'll go to the line for two.
Well, Lamker's got a little bit of a size advantage against the Tonka guards. So he's certainly taking that to his advantage. We'll see the nice drive here again, breaking the free throw line. Tonka choosing to playing him straight up, and he's taking advantage of that matchup.
Oh, what I like about it is that he's going at the basket when he takes it inside. For most of that play, you'd say, well, that's pretty good D. It's not like he's really beat him cleanly, but he just takes it strong at the bucket and forces the defender to either back off or foul him. And he again goes 1 for 2 at the line. Schilling another rebound, 15-12. It'll stay Minnetonka by 3. Down low, Schilling surrounded. He turns to shoot and draws a foul. Lamker reaching in, got him across the arm. It'll be the first on Dusty. Brian Pinata checking in here for Armstrong.
Take a look at the defensive attention Schilling draws. You see really three players around him as he goes up for the shot. He can certainly post up Shane Schilling, but he's also very effective facing the basket, and he needs to step out a little bit and take advantage of his size and quickness combination.
Brandon Rowell, number 40, coming into the game for Minnetonka for the first time. Schilling draws a foul here. Wilson thought he was going to just pull straight up for a conventional jumper, and he was going to come out at him. Instead, Schilling felt that he was coming and leaned into him and draws the foul on John Wilson. See this one again. Obviously, that's not what Armstrong has in mind, is allowing Schilling free on a pick on an inbound play. Schilling's first free throw is good. Girls basketball, or boys basketball actually, coming your way. Mounds View and Park Center. In about a week, we'll watch for that one on Monday the 16th on Cable 12. Park Center, Minnetonka, and Armstrong all in the same section. All three teams good enough to possibly win the state tournament. That is going to be one heck of a section tournament. I know the coaches probably aren't thrilled that they're all together. It will sure be fun, though, in that tournament. Tonka by 5, their biggest lead of the night.
Tonka playing excellent defense, as you said earlier, Jay, not allowing a three, and that's a big stat as the game goes on here.
Sloan puts it on the floor, off the glass, and good. The defense coming pretty hard out at him out on the perimeter. And so he puts it on the floor, and Armstrong's going to have to do some of that. Minnetonka obviously been told, get out there on their three-point shooters. Schilling shot rolls out. Going to get a foul on Rowell coming over the top. And that'll be his first. Fourth team foul against Minnetonka. Not a whole lot of fouls in this one. Well officiated game so far. I mean, it's just been clean. The fouls that have needed to be called have been called.
Quick shot in the post by Schilling. Again, maybe needing to step out a bit, take advantage of his matchup abilities.
17-14, Minnetonka by 3 points as Cates comes out to get it. Whitney lost the handle a little bit, gets it back, and his pass a little late to Lamker, but Keating fouled him from behind. He didn't see Lamker quite in time, but they'll get away with it because Keating bumped into Lamker when he was trying to receive that pass.
Armstrong showing good patience on the half-court offense.
Lamker pulls up inside the line, and Rowell blocks it and knocked out of bounds by Whitney. Minnetonka fans on their feet for the effort by Brandon Rowell getting out there. Great pump fake by Lamker, but good defensive help, and Rowell blocks the shot.
Game pace certainly slowed down here since the early part of the first quarter.
which I would think has a tendency to favor Armstrong. They play a little bit slower tempo normally than Minnetonka does. And Schilling coming back to get that one. He's got Whitney on him now, and he leans around him with the shot. No good. Cates has the rebound down to the floor. He goes, and Lamker not able to save it alongside his own bench. It will be Minnetonka basketball. Well, Minnetonka lost the first time. Is there a revenge factor in this one?
A little bit. I mean, it's also for a conference championship, though, too. So, you know, it could be revenge, and it's also for a conference championship.
And we might add to that possible first seeding in the section, which could be big. Here's Keating bombing away, and it's good. A three-pointer by Ryan Keating, his second basket of the game, and it's 20-14 Minnetonka.
Those types of shots will open it up for Schilling or Anderson, who's checked back in the game for Tonka.
Really tough D being played by Minnetonka today. Much better than the first time these teams met, I think. Nice little drive as Whitney hits Wilson, and Wilson lays it in. He has 6. Armstrong, I think, starting to recognize that they're being really overplayed out on the perimeter and that the drives and some cuts might be there.
Now the cutters are there, and they show good patience running that offense.
Down low, Schilling turning into Wilson. It rolls out, no good. Wilson rips it down. Wilson doing a pretty good job on Schilling. That's not an easy task. Here is Whitney. He's going to kiss it off the glass, but too hard. Gilbert rebounding. He fouled Anderson to get that one. Andy Gilbert will pick up his second, which could be a bit of a concern here for Armstrong.
We'll take a look at the miss by Gilbert. He might have been able to go a little deeper into the basket. Tonka slow to react, and boy, I didn't see a lot of contact on that call.
Keating to the baseline and back out. 4-point game. Keating driving, clock scene, and around the horn it goes to Fogarty for 3. In and out, Wilson rebounds. Gilbert is yet to score after being in the 20s his first time around against Tonka. They're certainly more conscious of him, I think, this time. Here's Whitney launching a 3, and it's good. First three-pointer of the game for Armstrong comes from Ty Whitney. Probably the player that you might least expect to shoot the 3, although he certainly is capable of it. Had a couple of big ones against Hopkins here on this court.
Both teams finding their rhythm offensively a little bit better here as this quarter winds down.
Sloan gambled and missed, and Keating will make him pay with the bank shot. Minnetonka's lead back to 3 now. 22-19 is our score. 2:40 to go in the second quarter here from Armstrong High. Wilson over Cloxy. That's a tough shot. In and out, no good. Gilbert going hard after the rebound, and he gets it. And his left foot ended up on the sideline, though, and Minnetonka will get the basketball. That is one of the few times tonight that you might say that was a little bit of a forced shot. Actually, both teams pretty patient and really taking good shots this evening.
And there you see the crowd, really a full house here. They've got the upper bleachers opened up, and those are nearly full except for a little bit of a section behind us.
And it'll be a battle for first in the Classic Lake in girls basketball, and we'll have it for you on Cable 12 Sports coming up on Wednesday night is the replay. Wayzata and Armstrong. Been a great winter of basketball at Armstrong. Obviously the boys and girls teams outstanding so far this year. One loss between them. 3-point game as we break the timeout here. 2:26 to go in the first half. And again, if you're just joining us, Jake Cuppy, the veteran big man for Minnetonka, sitting in street clothes. He averages about 15 points a ball game. And John Hedstrom said he feels like, you know, if there is a weakness for Armstrong, it might be defending a big post player, and that's one thing that they're lacking tonight with Jake out of there. Here's Keating lining up the 3. That one is short. Wilson is pushed from behind. Rowell will be called for a foul. Wilson was kind of in no man's land there. He was 1 against 3, but he was bumped. And it'll be team foul number 6 against Minnetonka. So from here on out, it'll be free throws for Armstrong on each and any foul in this half against Minnetonka. Falcons can cut it to one or tie with the three-pointer. 22-19. Sloan looking for Gilbert. A little behind him there. Here comes Keating leading the break. Lost the handle. Gilbert up with it to Wilson. Wilson didn't really have the numbers, and he'll pull it back. Oh, and he throws it off of Sloan. You can't throw that ball when he's that close, and he's not really open. That was a pretty good defensive play, but still a turnover that Armstrong would like to have back. That was not a real good turnover, if there ever is such a thing.
Yeah, they appeared to be rushing the last couple possessions.
Keating to Schilling inside, turning and scoring. He did a good job of holding off Wilson on the catch, and then the defensive help, but they just couldn't get up high enough to bother him shooting that ball, and probably nobody in this game really can.
At that deep into the basket, he's going to be a tough player to defend.
Wilson open at the free throw line. It is good. Good look out by Gilbert, and John Wilson bangs it home. He has 8, 24-21. Back to a three-point lead for Tonka.
Defense slow to react. Good recognition by the Falcons on the half court.
Finn cutting free. It is good, and that's a three-pointer for Brendan Finn. 27-21 Minnetonka. 55 seconds to go in the opening half. Slow and a little stop and go, but good help by Keating. Forces him to give it up. Lampker to Gilbert. Now Whitney cutting free and elects not to put it up. Sloan will bring it back out. Minnetonka bench on their feet, applauding their team's defensive effort. Whitney nowhere to go with it. Now Wilson, he's going to pull up for a tough looking jumper. No good. Anderson rebounds. 20 seconds to go in the first half. Minnetonka will play for one shot. They lead by 6, trying to knock off Armstrong on the Falcons' home court. Tonka fans on their feet here. Final seconds of the half. 7 seconds, 6. Keating back out to Clockscene. He'll pull up for a tough three-pointer. No good. First half ends, and Minnetonka in the lead here at halftime on the Armstrong Falcons home court. Our score is Minnetonka 27 and Armstrong 21. Number 2 leads number 1 so far. Back with second half action in just a moment here on Cable 12. And about set for second half action here with a 6-point edge for Minnetonka heading into our second half, and the Skippers will get possession to start things out. Keating, Fogarty, Clockscene, Anderson, and Schilling, the original starting five return for Tonka. Likewise for Armstrong, Lampker, Sloan, Wilson, Gilbert, and Whitney. Here's Schilling cutting to the middle, a little leaner in the lane, no good. Batted around, and Lampker comes away with it for Armstrong.
We talked about the excellent defense in that first half by the Skippers, especially on the perimeter.
Yeah, I thought they played very good D in that first half. Wilson cutting to the bucket, Anderson stripping it away as he went up for the layup. Look at a few first half highlights for you. As Schilling, nice feed over to Anderson for the layup, and back to action here. Armstrong, Gilbert to Wilson, a tough turnaround, no good. Wilson's taking a couple of off-balance shots here, and Minnetonka forcing him to out on the court a little bit. Lampker's been pretty quiet here tonight, and Gilbert even more so. Gilbert, leading scorer for Armstrong, has not scored, averaging nearly 14 a game. Sloan down low to Gilbert, had it bounce off his hands. Fortunately for the Falcons, they'll get it back though. Lampker in trouble, gets it to Sloan. Little runner, offensive foul, no bucket. That'll be number 1 on Yarzu, but good position defensively. Armstrong finding the going tough, even if they beat their defender, there's somebody there.
You see the pass across the baseline. Nice rotation. Anderson drew the charge.
And here's Anderson going to the bucket for the layup. Grant Anderson has 8 for Minnetonka, and their lead is 8, 29-21.
Oh, with Armstrong focusing so much on Schilling, Anderson having a big first half.
Whitney was open, but he can't hit, and Minnetonka a chance to stretch the lead to double figures. Schilling, turnaround, in and out, no good, batted around, and Gilbert away with it.
Schilling's shots just look a little bit forced, and they're just kind of hitting an iron and rolling off. Not as fluid as he normally plays the game.
Wilson's pass deflected, he got it back. Tonka getting after things defensively, and Larry Weehm wants a timeout. 6:04 to go in the third quarter. Armstrong hasn't scored yet in this period, and Minnetonka's only scored once, but 29-21, Tonka lead, trying to force a tie for first in the Classic Lake. And ultimately, as I was talking with Coach Hedstrom before the game, ultimately this one could very well go a long way toward determining the number 1 seed in the section too. And what that means is you're not going to have to play Park Center until the championship, which the number 1 seed I think is going to have a clear advantage in this section as compared to being number 2, because right now Park Center with 2 defeats figure to be somewhere in there 2 or 3, and the second, whoever winds up not being the number 1 seed out of these 2 would end up playing Park Center in the semifinal round. However, that's getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, because Park Center still has a shot at number 1 seed too if these teams would stumble again.
And Park Center, a very big and strong team, and neither one of these teams wants to play them early.
Pinata in there, turning into Anderson, who blocks it. Keating back through his legs to Clocksine, and now Fogarty. Schilling posting on the baseline. Keating kicking it back out. Shane Schilling pulling up over Wilson. Count it. Schilling into double figures with that hoop. 31-21. Minnetonka stretching the lead up to 10. And now we've got a balloon floating around in midair on the court. One of the referees had to stop play to come and get it.
Well, that last move by Schilling, a much more fluid move to the basket with a lot more definition and strength, the quickness you normally see from him as he slices to the basket.
Well, he can just rise up and shoot over Wilson if he gets the ball in good position. Lampker back out to Pinata, now Wilson. Whitney. Not a lot of openings against this Tonka defense here tonight. Lampker to the baseline, back out to Sloan. Sloan pulling up, he was going to be called for a travel. I thought perhaps Fogarty was going to be called for bumping into him, but Yarza will be called for a travel, and Larry Weehm wants another timeout. Things not going Armstrong's way here in this third quarter. Oh, his foot slipped a little bit, the pivot foot. Probably a pretty good call there. It was right in front of the official. Well, it's playoff time in girls high school hockey, and you can watch for Park Center and Wayzata meeting in the Section 7 quarterfinals. That will be airing Monday night at 8 o'clock.
Well, certainly Armstrong's got to get this defensive puzzle solved. Minnetonka coming out with a couple nice baskets at the break here, being very patient on their half-court offense, and if they continue to get the defensive stops, they're going to stretch this game right out.
I think in a lot of ways, Armstrong probably feels like Minnetonka did at this point in the game at Tonka, just a little bit out of sync, not getting the kind of quality shots that they want, and when they are getting them, not necessarily being able to connect.
Minnetonka really going with 3 guards in the lineup, and that allows them to be a little quicker defensively on the perimeter. Now we see Armstrong coming with a 1-2-2, kind of a 3/4 court trap here.
And Schilling had it stripped away. Here comes Sloan. Nice bounce pass to Lampker for the layup, and it pays immediate dividends. Armstrong 31-23 deficit now. Boxing passes it up. Schilling puts it on the floor around Lamker, and it's good. Schilling starting to heat up. Couple of buckets here in this quarter, and he has 12. And there's a look at Coach Clem Haskins on hand to watch this one here tonight. He is, from what we hear, is interested in Mr. Shane Schilling, and also Ryan Keating will walk on to try and play for the Gophers next year. Here's Whitney stepping back for a three. It is short, and Anderson wins the battle for the rebound. Tonka up by 10, and Keating into the front court. Nobody stops him, so he goes all the way for the layup. Ryan Keating, a sweet move, and Minnetonka leads by a dozen, 35-23.
Great penetration by Keating. Again, defensively, you've got to stop that penetration up in the key area.
Wilson's pass knocked away by Anderson. Fogarty to Schilling. Look out. Oh, and he lost the handle, but he puts his rebound back in. Schilling wanted to go up and throw one down. Instead, he lost it. And the Tonka fans are on their feet. 37-23. Minnetonka blowing this one open here in the third quarter with 3:27 to go.
A 10-2 to run to start the second half for the Skippers, and really the defensive end converting into offensive opportunities. And there you saw that missed dunk by Schilling, but he was able to convert anyway, and really everything going the Skippers' way right now. I think right now, if you're a Falcon fan, the goal is to kind of stay in the game and stay within hailing distance and hope to make that run in the fourth quarter.
Well, Ryan Keating said for the most part his team just didn't play hard enough in the first game, and this is what he feels the team needed to do tonight.
I don't know if they surprised us. They just play a lot harder than we did. They're a good team, but we didn't have the intensity that we needed to have the whole game. And I don't know, it was close for a while, and they just kind of blew us out. But we didn't execute, and they did. And they're tough. I mean, if they're gonna shoot like that, and we're not gonna execute, they're gonna blow anyone out.
Right now, it's Minnetonka doing the blowing out so far, 37-23. Still a lot of game to be played, though. We're just past the midway point of the third quarter. I suspect Larry Weehm had a few choice words for his club in that huddle. Cutting free is Sloan, and he takes the feed from Gilbert to score. Armstrong changing some things up a little bit offensively. You have to give a little credit to Larry Weehm here, realizing that what they've been doing wasn't necessarily working.
Spread the floor a little bit, go inside out with your guards cutting to the basket. Good look for Falcons.
Schilling looking for Anderson, who was tied up with Gilbert. Anderson actually may have gotten away with a push there, but either way, it's going to be a turnover against Minnetonka. And they'll come with a little bit of token pressure here as Finn lines up on Yarzu Sloan. Armstrong has to remember that you're not going to get a dozen points back at a time and just keep chipping away. Turnaround for Gilbert. Score it. First basket of the game for Armstrong's leading scorer, Andy Gilbert. And it comes with 2:35 to go in the third quarter.
Gilbert's big for the Falcons in this second half.
Schilling turning around. He'll get two at the line as Gerard fouled him, helping out on the baseline.
She's Schilling getting nice post position here, and a little spin move into the baseline.
Shane Schilling, 6 points in this quarter, 14 for the night. And he misfires here. More girls hockey action to tell you about. Maple Grove playing Blaine in the Section 7 tournament. You can watch that one Tuesday night at 8 o'clock here on Cable 12. Second free throw is good for Schilling, so knocks down 1 out of 2. 38-27. The lead is 11 points for Minnetonka. 2:20 to go in the third. Armstrong seems to want to up this tempo a little bit, move the ball quicker. Wilson cut off. Gerard was fouled. Keating tried to poke the ball free, and instead he got a little forearm. And number 2 on Ryan Keating. Again, a pretty foul-free second half like the first. It makes for a nice quick and entertaining game. Sloan driving, nice catch by Whitney, and he got it over Schilling to lay it in.
Just what Armstrong needs, a couple baskets to kind of creep back into it, to not let Minnetonka get too far ahead.
Back cut to the baseline by Keating, takes it in traffic, blocked by Gilbert. Keating will come back out of there with it. Feeds it low to Anderson. Gilbert gets back. Pace of this one's kind of picked up again like it was early in the first quarter. Finn looking to Schilling, spins away from Wilson, but he cannot hit. And a foul on Minnetonka as Sloan flies to the court. He had position inside. And it looks as though it'll be Anderson, I believe, picking it up.
Take a look at Schilling calling for the ball on the post. Again, a little maybe quick on the shot.
(38-29). Tonka by 9, 1:15 to play third quarter. Armstrong spreading the court again here. And Wilson zigged when Sloan thought he was going to zag, and out of bounds it goes.
It's a good decision by Armstrong to spread the floor, take advantage of Sloan's quickness.
A minute. See if Minnetonka has ideas of holding for the last shot in this quarter here. They're up 9, and they don't seem to be in any hurry so far, and why should they be? And if Armstrong doesn't come out, Keating will be content to hang on to it till there's under 10 seconds to go. Fogarty getting himself out a little high there, but got it over the clock scene. Under a half minute to go in the third. Tonka keep it out on the perimeter and play catch until probably giving it up to Keating with about 10 seconds to go would be ideal. Now we're at a dozen seconds, and Keating will go with it here. Sloan really hounding him, almost knocked it away. Now he does. Wilson to Sloan, over to Gerard for the pull-up jumper, and it's in and out. Tonka rebounds. The last shot try will not count. Third quarter comes to an end. Minnetonka opening it up. They got the lead up to a dozen. It's 9 right now. He lays it in. Good look by Keating. 10 points for Grant Anderson. Again, filling in for injured Jake Cuppy. Lamker, a terrible shot there, but a good rebound by Whitney, and he scores it. Well, Armstrong trying to get heated up from three-point range, but a couple of not real good shot attempts by one by Sloan and that one by Lamker in the first couple possessions in this quarter. Of course, if they go in, then they look good. Anderson turning into Gilbert, drew a foul. Gilbert thought he had the ball. He also had some body. Number 3 on Andy Gilbert, and Anderson will head to the free throw line.
So good patience by the skippers, and Anderson with nice post position on Gilbert, and he turns and he's got him on his backside, and most officials will make that call most of the time.
Anderson's free throw too hard, no good. It's not like Anderson didn't play a lot anyway, but he wasn't in the starting lineup normally. He is averaging close to 9 a ball game for Tonka. Second free throw also no good. 7-point game. Armstrong a chance to cut it further here if they can get something going. They haven't really looked in sync offensively all night though.
A couple big misses there by Anderson because it does allow Armstrong to maintain that momentum if they can convert on this possession.
Sloan. Now to Wilson and Whitney. Gilbert at the high post. Turns, dishes to Whitney. Tough shot over Schilling. It's short. Keating rebounds. Armstrong not getting any clean looks at the hoop tonight. Or very few anyway. Sloan with the steal. Yarzu to the hole and he scores it. You have to protect the ball against Yarzu Sloan. And now we're going to get a delay of game, I believe, called here against Armstrong for touching that ball. They're going to give a warning for touching it after it had gone through the hoop.
Well, clearly the momentum has swung to Armstrong. Energy is certainly on their side. Nice step in by Sloan, a big conversion at the other end.
5.5 to play, the crowd rocking here. Tonka by 5 points. Whoa, Schilling almost had it stripped by Wilson. Schilling turns on Wilson and he misses. Here's Sloan, Armstrong, fans on their feet. Wilson will go to the hole and he misses it. Gilbert with the rebound. Gilbert in traffic, had it blocked by Anderson. Armstrong bench screaming for a foul.
Armstrong with a couple good looks. They just could not convert in transition and on the follow.
Timeout taken by Minnetonka. Another look at this drive. Wilson had a tough one over Schilling. Now let's look. Armstrong really thought that Anderson had fouled Gilbert when he took this one back up. Kind of hard to tell from our angle here. May have gotten a little arm on the play, but they've been letting him play here tonight. Well, Ty Whitney says Coach Larry Weehm doesn't care if his team's number one. He's not going to let them get too overconfident.
Yeah, coach just stresses that can't get caught up in all the wins we've had. We just have to keep playing and do what we do that's kept us winning, and everything will work out. So we've just been working hard and have things go our way.
Well, things have gone their way all year, but not so much here tonight, although the Falcons are back to within 5 now at 40-35. 4:59 remaining. The number 1 and 2 teams in the poll heading into this week of play, with Hopkins number 3, another Classic Lake team. Schilling keeps the dribble, goes out to Keating, around Sloan for the pull-up, too hard. And Schilling wins the fight for the rebound. Schilling's shot is short. He gets it again, had it stripped by Lamker. Oh my, and there's going to be a foul call on Lamker on the reach-in. It's going to be ruled on the floor. Actually, it's going to be Whitney rather than Lamker. So it's not Lamker on the strip that gets called here. It's going to be Whitney. Schilling cutting free to the baseline, leaves it short, and then he is fouled. Schilling is not hitting, but he's getting the ball back every time. He can go up again. He's got, he's much better leaper than anybody he's going against.
Certainly playing with a little more determination in this fourth quarter. Schilling really getting after the ball.
Schilling will at the line and again. This time it bounces around and drops. Reminder to watch Sports Jam each week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on Cable 12. All the recap of all the big highlights from the week and in-studio guests and our unsung athlete of the week too. No good on the second one. Gilbert rebounds, so it's a 6-point game. Armstrong looking to go quick. Whitney takes it at Schilling and drew a foul. Number 1 on Shane Schilling. Sometimes good things happen when you're just being aggressive here. A lot of times you might think, well, Schilling's a pretty good player. I maybe shouldn't take it at him, but Whitney just went right at the rack.
Sometimes that's the best recipe. Make that good offensive player play some defense, and maybe you're really forcing the official to make that call, especially when the offensive player gets inside position. You want to get to the line.
Bounces around and drops for Ty Whitney, who has 10 points. And Whitney, nothing but net on free throw number 2, 41-37. Armstrong back to within 4. Haven't quite reached the halfway point here in the fourth quarter yet either. Whoa, a little trouble with the dribble for Finn, but he gets it back. Wisely didn't try to dribble again, he just held it. Sloan really out there aggressively, and John Hedstrom's in the official's ear letting him know he thinks he's getting away with something out there. Gilbert on Keating now on a switch, and Anderson posting Sloan inside, and Sloan fouls him on the way up. They went with the switch on that pick, and it wound up with Gilbert out on Keating and Anderson inside against Sloan.
Take a look at the good patience by Minnetonka. They ran about 30 seconds on that possession. Anderson gets the defender in front of him, and he'll be at the line.
Grant Anderson tonight has struggled a bit at the stripe. He's 1 out of 4. He does have 11 points though. Gets it here. Five-point game, 3:48 to play. Anderson connects again. 43-37. Lampert is Sloan looking inside, nothing there. Gilbert tied up with Anderson. It's going to be out of bounds off of Andy Gilbert.
Minnetonka playing solid defense, and Armstrong maybe getting a little careless with the ball. Every possession a key. Minnetonka also now in the bonus for the balance of this quarter.
Sloan stepping into the passing lane again. Goes to the bucket, and he's fouled as well. Yarzu Sloan protecting it from Keating, and Keating fouls him. And Armstrong can cut it to 3. A great step in and steal by Yarzu Sloan. And Keating clearly clipped him across the back of the head. That's pretty good concentration to still make the hoop.
That really was not a good foul by Ryan Keating. He should have given Sloan the basket. Clearly was going to make the shot into the basket.
Hey, kind of tell a guy you either do one or the other. You don't do both. If you're going to foul him, you foul him hard enough that he has no chance to make it. Well, he misses the free throw, so it's 43-39. Tonka by 4 points. Back cut, Anderson to Schilling, and he rolls it in. Wilson had a good recovery to get a piece of it. He wanted the dunk, but Schilling good strength to knock it down. He thought he was fouled on the play, but he really did a good job to get that hoop to go regardless. 6-point lead. Yarzu will take that 3 off the iron, no good. Gilbert bats it back out. Lampker for 3. Oh my, that one way off.
Well, it's probably a little early for those threes. You're only down by 6. A basket gets you within 4, so I'm sure Coach Williams just going to talk to Lampker and probably get him back in there in about 30, 40 seconds.
Gerard comes in to replace him here. 2.5 minutes. Armstrong extending the defense again. Keating to Schilling. He'll pull up. No good, and Whitney rebounds.
Probably a little bit early to shoot that quick if you're the Skippers.
Gilbert stepping back, and he knocks down the 3. Gutsy shot by Andy Gilbert, and it's 45-42. He stepped back and drains the three-pointer. 2 minutes to play. 3-point lead, Minnetonka. Here's where it's so valuable to have a guy like Keating handling the ball, although Sloan has come out and taken it away, not necessarily from Keating, but on some return passes when they try to get it to him.
The advantage of having 3 guards for Minnetonka is you can spread the floor, but it's 2 minutes to go, a lot of basketball. Armstrong will come after them defensively, and Sloan has been very effective in stepping in on creating some turnovers.
When a coach has a parquet floor on his little diagramming board there. That's pretty cool.
Those aren't the boards you buy at All-Star Sports here locally.
Minnetonka, I think you kind of brought it up earlier, Kevin, that I think in a way they've kind of taken the air out of the ball here. I don't want to say too early because they are still in the lead, but it sometimes can be tough to going back to trying to score when you've been playing keep away. Whitney wants to foul Clockstein. They want to get it into the bonus, it looks like here. That was just that is the 7th team foul, and we'll send them to the line. Apparently they felt it appeared as though Whitney had it in mind all the way that he wanted to foul Clockstein on that play.
You know, you're down by 3, under 2 minutes. You know, it doesn't hurt to go for the steal and get the foul. And let's see if Minnetonka can knock some free throws down here.
Clockstein a 1-and-1, and he hits. I would like that strategy more if we didn't have the 10 foul rule, but each time you tack one more on, it brings him closer to that 2 shots. He only gets 1 out of 2. 4-point game, 46-42. 1 minute and 35 seconds to play in this one. Wilson to Whitney. Gilbert feeling it now, pulls back for another 3, not there. And the rebound gathered in by Fogarty after Schilling tipped it to him. Keating. Clockstein. Anderson open on the baseline. Oh, and it almost rolled in. Whitney fouled him. And Grant Anderson nearly converting an impossible shot as he was falling to the floor. He'll go to the line.
You see the excellent passing by Minnetonka. Anderson goes strong to the basket, and there is the good foul by Armstrong. Probably a little early to shoot that quick 3. If you're Armstrong, they just needed 2 to get it down to 2. So
that's the thing. The earlier one on Gilbert, he steps back, he makes it. You know, you have to say that's a big shot, and then this time not able to make it. Boy, this foul is looking even better now. Anderson misses the first free throw. See if Armstrong goes quick or if they'll maybe think about a timeout here. Down 4, depending on what happens here now. 5, 47-42.
Well, you need a basket. I would certainly take a quick 2 here. You don't need a 3.
Inside they'll go to Gilbert. Back out to Sloan for 3. It's good! Clutch bucket for Yarzu Sloan. 47-45. Minnetonka by 2. We're under a minute to play.
Play good defense. Look for the steal, and you make him move the ball. At some point, you got to go for the foul, though. You probably get down under 20.
45 seconds. You want to make sure you don't get so overextended that you give up a layup either, though. And let's see, do we get a timeout call, or is there going to be a foul? No. It will be on Sloan reaching in.
Not a bad foul. You're still 1-and-1, so you got to make Minnetonka shoot them.
And if these Armstrong kids saw the section final a year ago, Keating had a chance against Park Center, and he did not come through at the free throw line with a second or 2 left in that game, and it sealed up a win for Park Center. 36 seconds to go as he steps up and hits. First free throw attempt tonight for Ryan. He has 10 points, and the lead is 3. Now the second one also big, of course, because they're making a 2-possession lead. And Keating comes through in the clutch. 49-45 Tonka. Wilson to Gilbert. Gilbert now, and Gerard is fouled out on the floor. That's only the 6th-team foul. That does not hurt Minnetonka.
What hurts Minnetonka is they ran off about 12 seconds and did not get a shot. You know, it is a 2-possession game, so they've got to get something here quickly, force a turnover or foul.
Right back to Wilson it goes. Wilson into the lane. He's cut off. Nowhere to go. Great defense underneath to Whitney. He missed, but he drew a foul with 14.8 seconds to play. And Whitney will head to the free throw line. Clockstein will pick it up.
Nice entry pass. Whitney is open inside. We get 2 at the line. Free throw is very critical. He's got to make at least 1. Armstrong has got to come with full court pressure, and they've got to go for the steal and the foul. Probably do not want the ball to cross half court because that will allow Tonka to run a lot of time off the clock.
Well, everything as advertised so far here. Number 2 Tonka leading number 1 Armstrong 49-45 in the second go-round this season. And you see the guys in the blue coats are happier here tonight. Now you have to keep in mind both of these clubs have another game remaining against Hopkins. So you can't say, well, now they're probably going to tie for the Classic Lake title. There's still a few other teams out there that are capable on a given night of knocking either of these teams off.
Yeah, Hopkins is dangerous either on the road or at home, and both of these teams are going to have to, I think Armstrong plays Hopkins there, so that's going to be a tough battle for the Falcons. And
Minnetonka's next game is against Hopkins, although it is on the Skippers' home court, and they did go over to Hopkins and beat them earlier this season, handing Hopkins one of their 2 defeats. The other, of course, was here at Armstrong. The Royals are the only team that's ever won a Classic Lake title since it was renamed and reformed. Whitney's free throws appeared to be short, but it crawls in. (49-46). One more time for Whitney, and he drains them both. 49-47. No, they've got to come up and foul. And finally, Whitney grabs Cloxine at midcourt. And that'll be the 10th foul against Armstrong, which means an automatic 2 for Ryan Cloxine. Falcons kind of fell asleep there. It didn't appear that anybody was going to come up and guard Cloxine.
Well, you've got to hope he misses one if you're a Falcon fan, and you can convert at the other end.
And the free throw not good. Armstrong has life, 10 seconds to play. They're down 2. Still an important second free throw for Ryan Cloxine, obviously. And that one's short, but it bounces in. 3-point ball game. Armstrong not going to go with the timeout. Slow into the corner. Gilbert is blocked by Anderson. 3.5 seconds to play. Armstrong going to quickly get Lampker up off the bench. And the Falcons are going to use a timeout. Great block by Anderson coming out on Gilbert.
Now the shot deep in the corner. A lot of people will say that's the toughest 3-point shot. So 3.5 seconds, a lot of time.
Well, the thing about it now, though, is for Minnetonka, they can afford to completely defend the perimeter. They can say, take a layup if you want it, because there's no way Armstrong's going to have enough time to do anything more if they give them so now you can line up your defense all around that arc, and that makes a big difference with it being this late.
Right, you defend the arc. You certainly probably want to put somebody on the inbounder. It's kind of call it the umbrella defense, and really leave that paint area wide open. But certainly enough time for Armstrong to have a couple players touch the ball, maybe the initial receiver of the pass, find somebody coming off a screen, and as we said throughout the contest night, any one of these guys can shoot the 3, so anybody can be a factor tonight for Armstrong.
Here's the other thing, if you're Minnetonka, you do not want to foul a guy shooting a 3, because sometimes you get over exuberant trying to get out and make a block. Here we go, down to one more play, it appears. To Whitney, Gerard will take it, and he misses it, and Minnetonka knocks off number 1 Armstrong. The Skippers hanging on for the 3-point victory on Armstrong's home court without Jake Cuppy here this evening. And a fantastic contest here tonight in Plymouth, Kevin. And I don't think, really, I don't think either team diminished their standing as far as the rankings so far here tonight.
Now, Minnetonka came out really strong in that third quarter, built a double-digit lead, and you got to give the Falcons a lot of credit for coming back. Sloan played a great second half, I thought, with some key steals, but Minnetonka just built up that lead. It was a little too much, and they did make some clutch free throws down the stretch, and Minnetonka's solid defense, I think, was the key tonight for the Skippers, and Armstrong had a tough time cracking that combination. So a great effort by both teams, but the Skippers come in here and they kind of return the favor, if you will.
I agree wholeheartedly with the defense being the key here tonight. You hold Armstrong to 47, and they really had to work for those 47 points, and it was, I think, a defensive effort that John Hedstrom felt wasn't good enough in the first game. It clearly was here tonight.
Yeah, you got to give the coaches for making some adjustments. Minnetonka made the adjustment. They made the adjustment without the big guy in the middle too. Schilling stepped up, but Grant Anderson, I thought, had just a super game. I've got him for 7 boards in addition to the points he's got tonight, and he was a big factor, and he took some pressure off of Schilling.
All right, we'll come back to wrap things up here from Armstrong High School. It's number 2 Minnetonka 50 and number 1 Armstrong 47.